Hi, welcome to today's reading. Today we will be looking at what you are waiting to exhale. What you are waiting to exhale, or what are you waiting to exhale? Can't wait to dig into this reading. If you are new to my channel, please do subscribe. Feel free to like, share, comment if you resonate. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you for allowing me to speak into your life. I don't take it lightly. There are several ways that you can assist or help in growing the channel. Of course, you can like, share, of course, subscribe. Please do. You can also comment if you would like to add anything. If you're resonating with something and you want to share how it resonated, you are very welcome to do that. There's also a couple of links in my description box. One would allow you to donate if you feel led to do so. The other one would allow you to schedule a session with me if you feel led to do so as well. These sessions are pre-recorded. Of course, there would be a brief meeting of the minds before the session, just to find out what it is that you are looking for. I tend to want to read into purpose, right? Anything around purpose, there's a question that you can ask. I'm more than happy to dive in and connect with spirit in that way. So feel free to click on that link and schedule an appointment. With that being said, again, thank you for your time, for your energy, for this space. Let's jump in. And so we will be using 4 to 5 different oracle decks for this reading, and approximately 3 to 4 different tarot decks. We have 2 different piles to choose from. For pile number 1, we have this butterfly bling bracelet. That will be for pile number 1. And for pile number 2, we have this diamond studded silver bracelet. And that will be pile number 2. So go ahead and choose one. All right, let's get started. Let's see. And let's get started. So, what are you waiting to exhale? What are you waiting to let go? So let's jump in. Thank you for stopping by. For our first card, we have third eye chakra, the Om. So with this card, I feel like one of the things you could be waiting to let go could be, I feel like right now I'm feeling it, I'm hearing cognitive dissonance. Cognitive, I don't know why I'm hearing that or how that's going to come through, but let's just move forward. I'm hearing cognitive dissonance. And so the third eye chakra, the Om, This is the chakra that actually is where you actually travel within, travel deep within into your consciousness and actually realize the vast potential that you have. So this chakra actually is the place where physical sight, spiritual sight, all the senses, even the nerve systems and the pituitary gland are kind of operated through or from. This is also where qualities of wisdom and clarity and infinity and intuition is held. And so many of the senses rest here. And this is almost like the energy of realization. And so in terms of waiting to exhale, I feel like there's the energy of being able to really receive and accept things beyond, I would say, beyond the 3D. Because we're talking about intuition here. And one of the challenges of being able to really see beyond the physical is there's that cognitive dissonance that happens. There's like that argument that sometimes happens between reality versus spirit, and I feel like this is being able to release things as you knew them so that you can invite in a higher level of intuition, so that the inner level of knowing can expand and your senses can be made available through this energy center. There could be like a struggle of letting go of, seeing things as they are in the physical and not being open to the possible. It's almost like the energy of feeling more in tune with earth-based practices than anything else, which could in fact restrict the possibility of the spiritual based practices of bringing in that higher level of tapping in. And so this could be releasing anything that would stop you from being able to trust and unfold that higher sense of development internally through your third eye chakra. This is also where archetypes and dreams and visions and images are kept. That's going to reflect that higher level of consciousness. Yeah, and so for someone, you're waiting for this to be released, or you're waiting to exhale in this way so that higher levels of expression and communication can come through. Again, this is the third eye chakra, where you imagine and create your truth. This is also the creation of flow with the yin-yang energy, the third eye. And so for someone, there's an exhale that's being released here, or waiting. There's a waiting for this to be released. Something that could be keeping it from being released. And so the cognitive dissonance could actually be what it is it's a like a mental conflict that happens, and it occurs when your beliefs don't line up with the actions. Or in this case, I feel like it's more along the line of the physical, right, which could be the actions, doesn't line up with the spiritual, which could be the beliefs. There's like a mismatch between what is believed and what is being seen. There's like an interruption of the flow between the physical and the spiritual. And so I don't know why I'm hearing that cognitive dissonance here. And so there's just some type of contradiction, possibly with values, attitudes, or possible perspectives about how you're seeing things in the spiritual versus how they're being received in the physical. So that's what I'm hearing here. So overall, with the third eye chakra, the Om, I feel like this could be waiting for a release of any kind of restrictions that could be holding you back from realizing the vast potential that exists in front of you, for you, all around you. And this very well could be something that you don't even yet realize, but there's that inner conflict that you feel possibly. Let's continue. And then we have defend to the end the worthwhile. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. Defend to the end the worthwhile. And immediately I'm seeing the owl, of course, which represents wisdom and truth, right? That's sitting right on the crown chakra and the third eye. And then I'm noticing the tears. There's some type of grief, or yeah, there's something here that alludes to a struggle of some kind. And so defend to the end the worthwhile is the next card here. And so there is a insight beyond the illusions, as pretty as they are. There is a deeper knowing past the lies, as sweet as they may sound. It's the knowing of what's worthwhile. And there's a recognizing of what is necessary to keep life afloat and thriving. And anything that comes in to reduce that or minimize that, right, has to be questioned and has to be challenged and looked at a little bit more closely, and more times than not cast aside. Because if it's not filtered through the heart or received through the heart, can we even call it authentic? Probably not. Yeah. Can we even find truth in it if it's not aligning like with the aliveness and the joy that is felt through the heart, or the truth that is filtered through the heart? Anything else is what we would call darkness, confusion, doubt, despair, darkness. So I feel like for who I'm talking to, you are most definitely carrying the energy of a sacred warrior, a defender of the heart. And even looking at this card, definitely This card carries a lot of weight, right? This carries the weight of feeling the weight of the world. There are genuine tears cried out, not only for your own personal grief, but for the grief of the world. This is also rage at injustice and oppression, not only in your own life, but also in the lives that you see around you, the oppression that happens in the world at large and the injustices. There's this rage that cries out. And I feel like this is someone who projects love, that has no other option but to project love in a most powerful way. Even as it's attempted to be smothered under lies and fear, it's still projected fearfully, strongly. And there's a need, and many times the ignoring of that little voice that comes in to tell you to stop being so sensitive or stop making such a big deal, out of things. But it's filtered through love. Like, isn't love the most important thing of all? Yes, it is. Is there anything more worthy of being sensitive about? Yeah, but the energy here is very adamant about carrying forth that energy of love and not allowing fear or criticism or doubt or lies to come in and block it from moving forward. Even if others could find, the truth being presented as harsh and in many ways, unacceptable or hard to accept. Yeah. But it's still having the conviction to carry forward truth, to carry forward love, no matter how difficult it is to carry it forward, no matter how difficult it is to handle. It's being faithful to love is what it is, above anything else. And you have to honor that, the guidance being ushered forward in your heart, as painful as it is to look at, things that cry out for attention in that way. I almost feel like this is someone who can't not listen to this nudge, to this urge, whether it's speaking out truth or projecting the energy of love, that you can't ignore it. Ignoring it would mean thwarting the whole integrity of your being, of your authenticity. And it would be almost like a landslide, off the path or to some type of great devastation, And so this is not something that can be shunned or shirked off. This is imminent to your very being, I feel like. And so what are you waiting to exhale is the weight that you carry. not only for yourself, but for the world. This is the path of a sacred warrior. And it's not easy. And so I feel like the energy of needing to really release or exhale, like everything that is placed on you. In terms of having to continue to move forward despite the lack of support or understanding or empathy, and continue to move forward in the integrity of the love that resides in your heart, or what you know to be true beyond what is being seen, right? There's that energy of cognitive dissonance again. It's being able to love and be integrous in the face of hate or fear. And darkness at times. Sometimes the darkness is very intelligent and sneaky, and it'll attempt to tell you how it doesn't matter. That, oh, this time you don't have to worry about it. Just bypass this time. Just bypass what you promised. And that you're just one person. You couldn't possibly make a difference. The darkness will attempt to lurk you into like this sleepy ambivalence to kind of try to dull your light. And if you allow it to, it'll do just that. But for who I'm tapping into, this is the energy of not allowing that to happen. Because the sacred warrior within fights with love and honor to be true to what has meaning, and will never ever allow that to be pushed aside, even if it seems easier in the moment or less painful. This is where the sacred warrior finds joy and honor in life. Yeah. And so, what are you waiting to exhale? Your moment of rest, I feel here. Your moment of rest, and it's coming. It's coming. And in addition to that, we have environment. And so when it comes to places where we reside, places where we inhabit, it could be work, it could be home, places that don't necessarily offer the comfort of continuous growth or this level of accountability, right? I feel like this is the energy of focusing in on not just the physical aspects of what's happening in your environment, but also, again, tapping into what happens behind the scenes. That third eye chakra energy. And this sacred warrior energy as well, tuning into what's happening behind the scenes And I can't help but think of a plant needing the right environment to continue, not just to live, but to thrive. To thrive. Understanding the right environment is necessary. And so there's a need to look beyond the scene, not just at what you can see with your eyes, but take a look from a spiritual aspect. Look at it with spiritual eyes. And asking how your decisions are going to measure, not only personally, but even globally. How all of the decisions that you make personally, politically, spiritually, emotionally, there's more than one side of how that's going to affect everything around you. And not discounting that you're just one little person, right? It's understanding that you do make a difference. You do have the power to change the environment. To change the frequency, right? It's almost unbelievable that one person would have that ability or that power. But in reality, when you look at it from a spiritual standpoint, you do. You do. You most definitely do. And for someone here, the owl may be very significant. The owl may actually be your spirit animal. And I did look that up because I wanted to find out exactly what that energy entailed. And so the owl as a spirit animal actually brings in the energy of wisdom, of intuition, right? Which is what we're talking about here. Also agility, like flexibility, strength, energy, movement, that fluidity, courage, and protection as well. And independence too. An owl is known to be a keen observer and to bring in energy of transformation as well with that fluidity. And so it's the energy of understanding your environment. There's the need to look behind the scenes when it comes to your environment. This could be practical as well. I feel like I could be speaking to someone who actually is a bit of an environmentalist. This could be somebody that takes on the weight of carrying the health of Earth seriously. So you could be a major contributor to the environment, right? You could do things like, go and just randomly clean up spaces like beaches or parks, things that would show that you're conscious and aware of how we're treating Earth, our environment, right? But I feel like this is also more so speaking of the spiritual aspect of being aware of your environment, not just physically. That's important, but mostly spiritually, looking beyond the veil, behind the veil at what's happening and how everything is being affected through that environment. And right in alignment with environment is time out. And so I feel like you could definitely be waiting on an opportunity to just stop. And I'm going to just say that, to just stop. I feel like in, today's world where everything is so busy and there's all the energy moving forward towards accomplishment and the accumulation of things. Like, this is a lost treasure. A timeout is a lost treasure. And I feel like if we took the time to realize the opportunities that are so present and so inexpensive, like it literally takes nothing. It gives more than it takes to stop and check in with yourself, to stop and see how you're doing, what you're needing. You know, it literally takes no money to do that. You can literally go sit under a tree somewhere, or literally just take a couple of minutes to go for a quick brisk walk. You know, something that is so inexpensive but gives back in such a major way. But yet we seldom realize the opportunity that we have. And so, waiting to exhale. Someone's waiting to exhale. They're waiting for the moment to be able to have that time just to stop. Just to stop. Stop striving. Stop working. Stop moving. And it's because we have so much going on all the time that we don't even notice when we're tired or irritable or anxious or just unwell. Like, we literally have to be almost on our sick bed to realize that we're not well. And so this is the need, not necessarily to have to take a vacation, you know, that sounds lovely. But usually it does cost money to take a vacation. It doesn't necessarily mean that. If you're able to do that, wonderful. But this is also being able to just take that 10 minutes to go sit under a tree, or to go on a walk, or to go find a closet where no one can find you, just for a moment to shut your eyes and tune into your body to see where you are. Especially as it pertains to toxic, negative environments, some of which, you know, I'm a realist, so sometimes you can escape it. Sometimes this environment is the workplace. Sometimes it's home. And it's not necessarily like you can just up and move. It's a necessary part of life. But it's taking care of yourself in the midst of that, and knowing how or when, or just the fact that you can withdraw and pull yourself out of that to heal and recharge. And so you are being given permission to do that. You've been waiting to exhale. Exhale. And we do have tarot cards here. We're pulling from our Circles of Life tarot deck. And again, what are you waiting to exhale? We have the Hierophant here. We also have the Knight of Cups. We have the Five of Swords. This is a very visual deck of mine. And we have the Six of Cups as well. And very interesting mixture of energy. Starting off with our Hierophant here. And so I feel like for some, and everything doesn't have to resonate with everybody. Just take it how it resonates for you. Okay. So with the Hierophant, this brings in the energy of having the ability to receive, like, the energy being handed down, kind of like in this picture. I'm visualizing someone who stands in the position of maybe a teacher, or maybe a preacher, a priest, someone who stands in a higher platform, like a pulpit or something like that, in a position of maybe in a position where there is something being passed down through him or her, and they in turn pass it down to those who they serve. It's like someone who is a conduit, who is, between the voice of the divine and the people. Who's able to rightly divide. But in this context, it's like, what are you waiting to exhale? And so it's letting go, because I feel like there is a time, there's levels to learning, and there comes a time where you assume the responsibility for yourself. I feel like there is a maturing that happens where you no longer have to be spoon-fed. As babies, we're spoon-fed until we become mature enough and strong enough to be able to feed ourselves. And for who I'm talking to, this may in fact come into play with the Hierophant here, because this is exactly what I said. This is someone, or the energy of having someone to pass something down. So it could be that there is a need to exhale from the dependency of that, a level of codependency of having someone communicate on your behalf instead of being dependent on someone to connect you to your divine source. You are actually in a position to release and connect on your own behalf. Right? There's the energy of no longer having to have someone to stand between you and your divine source, when you're completely able to stand on your own behalf. And so what are you exhaling? The codependency of having to have someone stand on your behalf. But you're completely able to stand on your own behalf. I feel like this is being given the tools to receive the message and to even channel the messages yourself, right? He holds the cup, the chalice, right? The chalice represents the actual releasing of emotions, or drinking water of life. So there's something here in regards to fulfillment, right? Drinking the water of life. And then on the other hand, he holds the scroll, which contains like the instructions, the teachings, the order, sacred texts that have been passed down, from generation to generation. So this is very much the energy of tradition, right? But it's also a sense of codependency as well. And so I feel like this is being able to connect, being able to exhale in a way that allows you to assume the responsibility for yourself. No longer do you have to depend on anyone else when it comes to connecting to your divine source. You're completely able to do that. You've been given access to the Holy Grail yourself. You have learned, truths. You've learned the secrets of the sacred text in ways that you understand this is actually being birthed from your heart. The direction is being birthed from your heart. And so I feel like this is releasing codependencies as it pertains to your spirituality or your connecting. And then we have the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups. And so the Knight of Cups is actually, let me see. I can't help but notice a woman carrying like a basket on her back. So there's a level of a load being carried here, but then there's also birds that's carrying her or helping her to kind of carry the weight. So she's carrying the load and the birds are carrying her. So they're helping her to carry the weight. And so it's almost like a creative solution for the burden of what has been given. By no means is this an easy thing, I feel like. And it could be something that has been just absorbing the very life out of you in many ways. And so there's the need, however, there's the conviction of feeling the importance of doing what needs to be done, but at the same time, the need for creative ways, to allow yourself to be lifted and carried. Right? So it looks like she's carrying water. And this is almost like she's carrying it somewhere. So her generosity of sharing what she has and knowing of the need for water, how water sustains life, right? Living water. And yeah, the help that she has as she's carrying that. And it's a pretty creative solution, right? Not something that you would think of every day. And this also could speak to the fact of needing to open up to receive help. That could be the exhale that will allow you that sense of rest and reciprocation, that sense of reviving that's needed. Looking for creative ways that Spirit has sent help. Least when you least expect it, help is sent. And so the need to exhale, being open to receive the help that's being sent. And I almost feel like it's not going to be the typical or it's not going to be what you expect or what you envision. It's going to be something very creative. Very creative. I love this. So what are you waiting to exhale? Right? Help is being sent. And all you have to do is be watchful for it to come in creatively, and also be open to receive it. Allow it to come in. And then in the next one, we have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords. And so this is a warrior. This is a picture of a warrior, right? And I know that because there's several swords, both in both hands and also in both feet, right? Of course, it's being depicted as a wasp, right? And it's almost like there's a waiting and an anticipation of opposition, right? So that there's the energy of stepping forward to meet it as it comes towards you. So this could definitely be like a test of character that's constantly at play. Right? Do you strike first? Do you wait for the enemy to strike? Either way, there's the preparation for what's to pop off. Yeah. And it's being prepared, I feel like, is what this is saying. Being prepared for what is to come. But it's also being in that energy of always being ready to fight or to defend. And so being in a position of wanting to exhale, I feel like this is a very tiring energy of always having to be on defense and waiting for the worst to come, you know, because that has been the experience. But there's a waiting right now to be able to release that, waiting to exhale all of the conflict. Not only around you and in you, but coming towards you. The conflict that arises as a result of you being this powerful energy source, this passionate ball of fire that always seems to be in the way, but in a good way. You're waiting to release that energy. And with the Six of Cups, which also talks about this energy of give and take, of the expectation of give and take. But I feel like in this way, with the Six of Cups, this could be very like something that feels familiar, right? Something coming back around. And it almost feels like the desire or the pull to share or give some explanation or give account in some kind of way. And it's releasing that energy. Releasing that energy, because you only owe an explanation to one. And that's the one who made you. That's your creator, your source, your higher power. And so the pull that you feel around you of the need to have to share, you know? And I feel like there could even be people around you that just want to know. Like it's not even, it doesn't even feel like an authentic energy. It feels very superficial and it feels very chatty, you know? Kind of like, you know, it's almost like this very chatty energy, you know? But it's releasing that, exhaling that, understanding that you owe nobody an explanation except for yourself, except for your source, your higher power. And so it's releasing that, releasing these energies of codependency when it comes to your spiritual source, of not feeling like you can welcome in help, like having to do everything alone and not being supported. This is the fact, this is the recognition that even if you're not supported in the physical, there is an energy of creation that will rise to your aid, right? Do you know who the creator is? Do you know who the source is? And do you know that that is the energy of limitless potential? Like there are no restrictions with the creator. I feel like this is what this is saying. And so whatever it is that you lack, don't worry. It'll be provided. The rest that you need will be provided. All right, and as you know by now, I am most definitely long-winded, okay? And so I think we're making good timing. So what are you waiting to exhale? Someone could definitely be ending or needing to have a break from work where you can actually tune into other, you know, parts of life that would spark your joy again, like relationships. You could possibly have the opportunity to have someone come in. This could be a middle-aged woman, but there's the need to release something, to exhale. And so that time out could be to take time away from, you know, the normal schedule of doing things, to open up to possible meeting people or relationships. That could present a lot of, you know, enjoyment and fulfillment. There could be a need to release a certain way of thinking around relationships, or even around hearing money, to bring in a greater level of wealth. There may be a need to think differently about that. I'm also hearing the over occupation of feeling like someone is out to get you or against you. The vulture is like energy. I almost am imagining a vulture that would circle around. You know, they only come around when something's dying, and they'll kind of hang around in the attempt to wait to be able to take advantage of whatever is dead, right? And so there's almost like the energy of feeling like someone's waiting. I don't know why I'm hearing that. Someone's waiting for you to die. Or maybe this is like the paranoia of feeling that way. that needs to be released. There's some type of anxiety or depression that's being experienced because you're feeling this way. Well, that definitely needs to be exhaled. If that is true, what I'm feeling, I'm only saying what I'm feeling and what I'm hearing. I feel like there's so many other things to enjoy in life. And, as opposed to being stuck here and being in your head and being paranoid. And so there's a need to exhale in that way and just start to enjoy life again. Yeah. And so let's find out how you are being guided to move forward. We're pulling from the Star Tarot deck. We have the Knight of Wands. We have the Star. We have the Five of Cups. We definitely have the Knight of Pentacles. And lastly, we have the Two of Pentacles, but it's in reverse. And so how you are being guided to move forward. So definitely move forward, right? Not to stay where you are, but to understand again that there is so much. I can't help but be like shaken by all of the vibrancy of this picture. And so if for some reason you feel like the best part of life is over, don't believe that for one moment. I feel like there's still so much more to experience, so much more to be fulfilled with all these colors, and the need to, first of all, be grounded and take up your space. Take up space. Don't be afraid to step in to places where you are able to operate, right? It's being confident, knowing that you belong somewhere. There's somewhere with your name on it that is going to, it's almost like putting in a square peg in a square hole, not trying to fit it in a round hole or a triangle hole. There's a place specifically for you. And it's going to feel like home. It's going to feel like family. It's going to give you that sense of livelihood. And then also understand that there's so much still for you to give. And I feel like this is kind of that creative energy. And for you to be able to pour out emotionally. There's a place of belonging where all of that is going to be just for you. It's going to feel like home. And so there's a need to take action. There's a need to keep moving forward in your truth, towards your truth, and to really sit in who you are and the path ahead of you. Find that and walk in it. So if for some reason who I'm talking to, you're feeling like the best of life is over, no, it's not. I feel like you're in the heart of the matter right now. And it can be whatever you make it. And this is for any age, okay? And with the Star, definitely be guided. Allow yourself to be open and connect. Stay connected. Most of all, to your truth. I'm hearing speak your truth. Don't muzzle yourself. I'm hearing higher levels of expression and communication coming forward. And just like you are being guided to speak, there's someone on the other end of that that's needing to receive it. So speak your truth. And so the star brings the energy of definitely being guided. Not only that, this is definitely wishful energy. So again, I feel like if you are feeling like the best is over, I don't feel like that's the case here. I feel like there's still yet to be discovered and experienced and explored. And there's a need to allow yourself to be guided in that way. And this is almost as well the energy of time out. This is connecting and environment as well. This is finding those spaces to stop that's necessary in order to be guided and to hear the deeper truths that you wouldn't hear in a busy lifestyle. It's the need to slow down and give yourself space to listen and to connect and to refresh in that way. So you're not operating on E. Yeah. Coming back to that balanced place. And you're being guided to move forward in that way. And so it's making yourself a priority in many areas of your life, in many ways. Not putting yourself last, but actually putting yourself first. Making yourself a priority. And moving forward, the Five of Cups. Yes, things are changing. Number fives bring in the energy of change. It could have something to do emotionally. Cups talks about emotions and connection. Could talk about relationships, but I feel like a lot is changing. Moving forward, even as you move forward, you'll notice that and you'll have to face that. If there's anything that's guaranteed in life, it's change. Nothing ever stays the same. And if it does, then there's a need to worry, because there should always be a change happening. There should always be some growth happening, some type of movement. But the Five of Cups brings in the energy of a little bit of a mourning or a grief. And I feel like it's really the understanding as you move forward, as things are changing, that it's okay to grieve the change, to grieve the losses. You know, you may find that you no longer align with people like you used to, or things. And it could, I feel like it's very human to grieve and to cry. And so that's okay. Moving forward, provide yourself the space to feel. That's going to be part of the continuous healing journey that you're on. Aside from everything else that's being placed before you to do, that's a part of it too. Allowing yourself to process the emotions of loss when that happens, as that happens. But it's not just loss, it's also the promise of something more, And so, yeah, the 3 cups are spilled down there, but that may in fact be something that would have hindered you further along the way. You still see the 2 cups here that's standing up, and they're like 3 times the size of the 3 cups that have spilled. And so, yeah, you can grieve, but don't stay there too long, because there's something more waiting for you on the horizon. Something that's going to align with where you're going. And I'm going to connect this with the star, which I just put down. You see the butterflies all along That represents the balance in life. It represents actually the alignment that happens when you put yourself in a place of priority in your own life. There's a sense of balance that happens in alignment with everything that's meant for you. And so those same butterflies, right, that represent the chakras, the alignment in life, right? That's the promise. When you allow yourself to flow. So yeah, it's okay to grieve and to mourn loss, but you have to keep going because there's something on the horizon that's going to align with you even more than this, whatever it is that you're walking away from. So keep moving forward, okay? And then the Knight of Pentacles brings in the energy of healing. So I feel like amongst everything else that we're walking into and operating in on our journeys, there's the need of continuous healing. The need of continuous healing and growing more expansive within our own existence, within ourselves. There's a need to continuously go inside and continue to commune and engage with self. I think that's the most important relationships that we'll ever have as we live, is the relationship with ourselves. And so the Knight of Pentacles comes in to remind you to keep healing. It's definitely a journey, and to keep healing and see that as a permanent part of life here forward, healing. So much so that you become fluid in healing, right? That you talk healing, you breathe healing, you look for healing, you see healing in everything that you're going through. Look for healing in everything as you move forward. This is becoming a permanent part of your journey. There's things in this particular experience that you've come here to heal. For some of us, we've come for this particular reason, to heal. That could be a personal healing. You know, it could be a generational healing. But for some of us, we've come here to do this specifically. So keep healing as you move forward. Definitely medicine-y. Like this is a medicine man, the Knight of Pentacles. You can see how it's very tribal and, you know, very tuned in as it pertains to the whole self. Yeah. And then lastly, we have the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles. And so this brings the Two of Pentacles reversed, right? And so I almost feel like this is bringing in the energy of understanding that there's going to be consistent level ups that will require you to continuously learn as well moving forward. Just when you feel like you have mastered something, it's almost like once you level up and move to the next level, you've moved back down to the bottom of the barrel where you're starting over again. It's almost like continuously mastering. And once you've mastered one thing, then you start on something else and you start the journey of learning again. because this is the energy of learning something new and starting all over, like starting from scratch. The Two of Pentacles in reverse, you're learning something new. And so I feel like there's the need to just get used to learning, get used to leveling up and starting over again, right? With the energy of learning from scratch. With the Two of Pentacles. Also, what I'm getting with the Two of Pentacles, because when it's upright, it's almost like a choice to be made. It's like a choice between, it could be, being that it's Pentacles, it could be like a choice of occupations or vocations or what you'll do to bring in stability for yourself. But in reverse, I almost feel like there's a need not to really get hung up on any particular decision or choice, because I feel like for some of us, we get anxious around choosing to where we don't choose, or it takes so long to choose, like it almost, throws the whole idea of choosing out the window, because it's become, the obsession over choosing becomes bigger than the actual choosing. And so I almost feel like Spirit wants you to not really get hung up on the fear of making the wrong choice. Not really to get hung up on it, because everything is working in your favor for your highest good. And even if for some reason you found that you made a choice that led you away from where it is that you felt like you were being called to, life always has a way of leading you back around to the right road that you're supposed to be on. And it depends on how you look at it, right? Look at it as an additional opportunity to experience, right? No, that choice didn't help you reach your goal or the overall place of calling where you were headed, but it taught you some things. It gave you extra experience on the way, right? It did cause you a little extra time on the journey to be added to getting where you're supposed to be, but it gave you additional experience on the way, right? And so I don't feel like there is any need to stress over choices, because everything will eventually work out for the highest good, right? And so moving forward, that's what I hear. And then we'll go ahead and find out, is there any particular advice coming in for us with our White Sage deck? And we do have the Three of Wands here. We have the Five of Swords. Again, we just had this Five of Swords, and we have the Eight of Wands. And so in the advice, what we have is, with the Three of Wands, we'll start there. And so for the Three of Wands, it's the energy of just being prepared, looking ahead and being prepared. And it's three sticks that are crossed with a blue ribbon flowing across. Right? It's being prepared, like standing in reality, seeing things clearly, engaging in your higher level of understanding and connection and communication, and being ready to move forward. It's having a higher level of understanding. Not only are you needing to move forward, but it's also taking into account of how you need to move forward. It's almost like mastering where you are right now, and now there's the need to strategize on how you can move forward successfully. Yeah. And so I feel like it's the energy and the advice of having you to be strategic, like in what you do moving forward. Have a plan. Don't just move haphazardly. What's the plan? Make sure there's clear communication with yourself and with others if you're feeling like you're moving forward with the group, right? So the need for clear communication as you plan and strategize your success forward. And it's not just moving forward with a plan, it's also in visualizing a successful plan. There's like the anticipation of success moving forward. And then let's jump on over here to the Eight of Wands, who has that same stick-like structure, more sticks, and then with a oranges ribbon flowing through. And so usually the Eight of Wands talks about energy of moving, definitely moving forward rapidly though. And so I feel like this is the energy of the fact that you are moving forward, so be ready, and the ability to do it gracefully. I feel like that ribbon looks very sensual to me as it's being woven in between the sticks. But it's almost like a soft, flowy woving, right? And so there's the ability, know that you're able to move forward, but know that you have this grace about you in how you do things. And it's asking you to do that as the changes come towards you, as the opportunities come towards you. Move in grace towards these things. Even the struggles and the trials, do it gracefully. Yeah. But swift change is coming in, and I feel like this is telling you to be ready. Be ready to move gracefully. And then lastly, we have the Five of Swords. Of course, 5 brings back that energy of change again. And swords is mindset. It's how you think. Swords can also represent truth, communication. Swords could also represent, in modern terms, it could represent like airtime. Airtime. I feel like, again, things are changing. And this could have something to do with the tension and the hostility that has been prevalent on this path, on this journey. Things are changing. And I feel like it's changing on your behalf for the good. That ribbon, that yellow ribbon that would have represented action, right? Possibly taken against you, is being shredded. As you can see, the ribbon has been cut to pieces. So the obstacles that may have prevented, the moving forward on your path, it's being disengaged. It's being torn apart. And so there will be nothing holding you back. The only thing that would be able to hold you back is you, if you chose to stay back. Yeah. And so though there could be conflict in the air, your reaction to that in the advice is to definitely choose your battles wisely. You don't have to engage with every invitation to a fight. As you move forward and ascend, there will be many opportunities to take the low road, if I can say that. You're being guided to just take the high road, stay up there. When they go low, you go high, right? Take the high road. You don't have to engage with every battle that you're being invited to. It's not even about that. This is not a battle of the ego. This is a heart war that's being waged right now. It's a heart war. And so, this is the energy of having things taken care of for you. There's not a lot that you have to do to get your hands dirty because it's being handled. And so it's asking you to choose your battles wisely. And we started out with this energy with the sacred warrior, about being this, almost look like this someone like a vigilante, if I could say that, someone who comes in on the behalf of others and speaks up when others don't have a voice, or comes in to assert power where there is no power. Someone who feels the weight of the oppression of the world, but at the same time, in the advice, it's pick your battles wisely. Choose them wisely. Choose where you'll choose to exert your energy. And I feel like that's very important with being in tune, and balanced within yourself, and being connected so that you can hear clearly and be guided clearly. That's what this connection is about, and being able to see things past what you see with your physical eye. Is being able to see beyond the veil. And I'm hearing for some, it's even the ability to see the intentions of people. You're not tripping, right? Sometimes when our giftings start to kick in, it's hard to receive sometimes, because not only do you see the good things, but sometimes you see the bad as well. And we want to cover our eyes because we only want to see good. No, you've been given the gift to see because you're trusted in that way. And so you need to see things for what they are and be guided in that way. Everything works in unison with everything else. It's all working together so that you're able to fulfill what you've been given to do. And so it's not necessary to engage every war that's being waged. You're being called to a specific place. And so choose your battles wisely. And so that is what I have here. That's what I have. And so what are you waiting to exhale? It's a mixture of things, right? And so that will end reading number 1. So if you chose this beautiful butterfly bracelet, this reading was for you from beginning to end. Again, take it as it resonates. I do need to let you know this is for entertainment purposes only. And if it does not resonate, please don't try to make it fit. Don't try to make it fit. If it does resonate, wonderful. I hope you're able to use some of this in your discoveries, right? And so that was the reading that I was able to draw from the energies here. And if you liked it, go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe if you're not subscribed. It does help my channel become discovered. Maybe someone else needs to hear this. However that plays out, okay? But again, I do appreciate your time, your energy, your attention. Until next time, thank you for stopping by. And if for some reason this did not resonate, tune in tomorrow. Come back. We'll have selection number 2 recorded tomorrow, okay? Thank you for stopping by. Until next time.